Hey guys, Sparrow here. Um, I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not get much sleep last night. I was absolutely furious with the entire conversation I had with that woman. Absolutely furious. It is beyond me how she could stand there and have the audacity to try and just explain away all of these things that I broached to her. Um, so basically, obviously you guys saw the videos last night. I'm now gonna get to the Catholics. Um, this is unbelievable. I did a lot of research to make sure that anything that I was stating was actually true. Let's just go over some of the things I've discovered. Um, Firstly, and this is unbelievable, you are indoctrinated into this religion from birth. Seriously. Babies who are unbaptized will not know heaven. So before these poor little souls can even open their eyes properly, they are forced to surrender their lives to these ecclesiastical madmen who want to do nothing more than just carry on indoctrinating youth. Add this to the fact that over the course of their developmental stages in life, they are taught not only like every Sunday, but for some of the ones who go to like Catholic schools, they are taught that God is hateful. Yes, I'm using the right word. They are taught that God loves them. He has unconditional love for them, unless they commit a sin. This could be anything. Anything can be considered a sin in this day and age. Let's not bullshit. So, they are taught from a very young age that the Father that they are supposed to look to for guidance and love and understanding and compassion will damn them to an eternity of hell unless you beg for his forgiveness. And let me just go over that again. You beg for his forgiveness. The person who loves everyone, loves all his children, you get on your knees and you beg. And they grow up with this entire thing. And when they become adults, they then force the same doctrine down the throats of their children because they don't know any better. Because to them, growing up, questioning anything outside of the religion, anything to do with the world around them, was a sin. And then we move on to the abuse that a lot of these poor people suffered through. And what I'm about to read to you guys is 100% true. One of the previous popes, Ratzinger, in 2003, it was his job to deal with the historic sex abuse allegations of the Catholic Church, especially towards children. His first act was to write a letter to Catholic bishops. I'm not kidding, this is actually what it said. Ordering, on pain of excommunication, to not talk to the police or any authorities. He goes on to say that this investigation must be handled in the most secretive of ways and restrained by perpetual silence. So he's trying to cover this up. He doesn't want the world outside to know what's going on. He knows what's going on, but because it'll make the church look bad, he's just going to, cover it up. And this isn't just my personal bias, and this was proven by the fact that the Mexican founder of the Legion of Christ movement was protected from his own disgustingly horrific catalogue of child sex and abuse. Ratzinger said, and I quote, "One cannot put on trial so close a friend of the Pope." This man was protected from everything because he was a close friend of, well, to put it bluntly, the voice of the world's most powerful and destructive religion. Over 1 billion souls in your service, and you're using it for disgusting atrocities. Now, this part gets interesting. When the allegations against the Mexican founder could no longer be denied, he was sentenced. Now, bearing in mind, I'm I'm trying not to laugh at this word, sentenced to a life of prayer and penitence. All these poor children and the abuse they suffered at the hands of this monster, and he was made to just pray his sins away. Oh, he's not going to hell, no, because he preached the word of the Lord. He can just be absolved of all these disgusting acts and go straight up to heaven, because all he has to do is beg forgiveness. And literally, because he was a friend of the leader of the most powerful religion on earth, he literally just got a slap on the wrist. Nothing. Oh, okay, you raped a bunch of children. Well, don't do it again and feel bad for what you do, because that fucking works. And then Ratzinger went on to say, and I cannot believe this, the church's official answer would be to stop homosexuals from entering the church. He also described the whole affair as causing suffering to the church and to him personally, not suffering to the poor victims of this scandalous abuse, but to the church and to him personally. Another example, when Uganda was going through the worst AIDS epidemic in the history of that country, the Pope at that time actually had the gall to spread the lie that condoms increased the risk of catching it. He actually went out of his way to turn an epidemic of such horrific proportion to propaganda. You know, but I can't fucking... Sorry, I need to stop it for a second. Back again, guys, sorry about that. Now, I'm gonna move on to the women who were born into this religion. Born into a religion where every right they have to their own body is removed at birth. It is stolen from them. They have no control over pretty much every aspect of their life. One thing I found quite interesting is they don't even have the right to become ordained, because in the Catechism of the Catholic Church it states, and I quote, "Only a baptized man validly receives sacred ordination." Insofar as priestly and episcopal ordination are concerned, the Church teaches that this requirement is a divine law, thus it is doctrinal. So it is a divine law for a woman not to be able to preach about her faith properly. It is a divine law that women have no proper rights. It is something that is indoctrinated into the minds of the youths. And then, as they grow up, they spend their entire lives being dictated to by men about their own bodies. Seriously, how is it fair for a man to decide that a woman is evil for getting an abortion? Just think about this for a moment. A man of the religion can force himself on a child, and these fanatics will sweep it under the rug. But a woman dares to contrive her own life? Well, she's sinning against the Father who is supposed to have unconditional love for her, and so great is his love, when he gets mad, he damns her to eternal torture and misery, and she, again, begs for forgiveness. Where is the love there? And then let's talk about another sort of, not really a cover-up, just more of a blatant ignoring of facts or other people's opinions. I'm going to talk about Lilith quickly. Now, a lot of you have probably watched Supernatural or programs to do with that sort of stuff, and Lilith is known as the mother of all demons. But this is where it gets interesting. Before the year 1000, an anonymous text known as the Alphabet of Ben Sira was introduced to medieval Jewry. The alphabet contained 22 episodes, as it were, corresponding to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The fifth contained Lilith, who was destructive and has a penchant for sex. Yet it also claims that she was Adam's wife before Eve, and that she left Eden because she was treated as man's inferior. So, by the simple act of trying to be equal, she was forced to give up her eternal happiness. But Catholics won't acknowledge this. I mean, why would they? Why would they encourage the idea that women were equal? I'm going to be honest. You guys treat every other religion so despicably. You have no right to control people or what they do. You have no right to control a woman. You have no right at all. Just answer me this. If you believe in everything, if you believe that all of this is happening because it's God's divine will, then, you know, why do you go along with it? Surely you can see it's wrong, surely. I'm not the only one who can see just how despicable and oppressive this religion is, and yet some of them actually have the audacity to moan about Sharia law. Okay, it's not perfect, it's never been perfect. I don't hate on it. I don't know enough about it to actually talk about it, so I'm not going to. But the amount of Catholics I've actually heard complaining about Sharia law, you'll know better. You will literally know better. You despise women from the minute they are born to the minute they die. And why? Because women were the cause of ultimate sin or ultimate evil. No, mate. No. I don't believe that for a minute. This is a very male-influenced, patriarchal religion. And, you know, what can I say? I don't care what you guys think. Fuck you all. I'm out. Good night.